Simon, there was a real effort there this afternoon, wasn't there, to finish the season?
Yeah, definitely. Made a bit of a deal this week about trying to send those blokes off in the right fashion, those long-serving players, and the other blokes that are leaving as well. But also making sure the start of a new journey for your Callum Kemps, your Ryan Westermans, starts in good fashion. Everyone had a responsibility to give the best on that. We knew we haven't been able to compete with teams in a lot of areas, but competing with yourself really on the effort stuff, and I don't think they're disappointed in that regard.
Particularly the first 40, that there seemed to play without fear.
Yeah, those young lads had a part in that. Callum throwing the ball, pulling the trigger when maybe at times older players who've seen a little bit more, pull it in. But listen, I think disappointingly we could have won that game, which is a far cry from where we've been the last couple of weeks. But yeah, the first half I thought they were good. Just did we give 6 penalties away in yardage the first half, which then obviously pulls them to your line, and you get a big Chris versus young Moy and Kemp together there on try line. He does that to grown men, big men as well, but he picked his target well there. But no, I thought they did themselves proud, and they come off the field with their heads up, which is what we asked for really in the week.
Just talk about those two debutants then, for people who maybe haven't seen lots of them, Simon, and what you saw in them and why they got the debuts today.
Right, so Callum, 17, just gone 18, twin. His brother Lloyd's good player as well. Both had great years in the academy there, and I dare say Callum may have played sooner. Same goes for Ryan as well. But in amongst all of this, what's been going on around them, it's been a difficult decision. We've had to play people out of choice for the most, having lack of choices for the most part. But we've really made an effort to try and keep those lads away from it, because your debut was supposed to be a nice day, where a lot of older blokes will look after you and show you the way, and unfortunately we haven't had that for a lot of our lads this year, and we tried to shield them a bit from it. Young halfback, he knows what he is already. I think he's not lightning quick. He knows how to play straight, organise as well, and he took some really good touches today. He's someone who's got a bright future. He started well today. He's got an old half who probably quite similar in Aidan Caesar coming to the club, which I think can benefit him massively if he taps into that. And Ryan, another one, he's good pals with Charles in that. It's probably been difficult for him to see his mate playing him, not get a run out this year, but he showed you what he's got there. He's a classy player. He's got a lot to learn, both sides of the ball, but his game came to play. I didn't think he looked out of place at all today.
Did they get the shirts presented by Carlos and Danny?
Yeah, we did that in the week, which was a good touch. Sort of passing of the torch, if you like. Not overly emotional. Callum in particular, Iceman, that's when I told him we were playing. Yeah, okay, no worries. He didn't give too much away, but yeah, I know it means a lot to them. The shirt presentations. These blokes have been their idols growing up. The centre in Ryan, Carlos have been an idol for him, a pivot type player. Danny Houghton's an idol for everyone, I reckon, over the last 18 years. Those young kids, that's the age bit, so they're just going 18. They've seen all Danny's career. They were born at the start of it and took in a lot of those good years. So it's been a really nice experience for them this week, I think, and yeah, hopefully they can carry it forward.
When you say it like that, there's players playing who were born today in the year that Mint made his debut in his final game. It's quite remarkable, that is. It just shows the longevity that Danny's had. I know you've spoken lots about him since the announcement, but now it's actually happened. Just talk a little bit more.
Yeah, unreal. And I mean, today in his last game, where I'm not holding it back. He's not what he was. He hasn't got the pace he once had. His body's letting him down, as it does to all of us as we get toward the end, and he's still influenced the game. Comes up with big plays, come up with a really nice kick to touch, slow the game down. All these little bits that you can't get. The experience gets you that, and we'll certainly miss that experience from Danny next year. But hopefully, it won't be too far away.
Nearly got his try as well, didn't he?
Yeah, I thought they were harder in there. Just give it the old boy. But I didn't think we got much, to be quite honest. But that's another story. It would have been nice, wouldn't it? But I think he's done plenty of nude runs before. He's not scored this year, has he? So another one more.
Is he staying at the club?
I think that's the plan. I think there's a bit to work through in how that looks. I'm a big advocate for it, having people who know your club, and keeping them around is big if you can. I mean, it sounds awful, but it's not a charity at the same time. People have got to add value to your environment, but the Mint that I've come to know properly, obviously I played against him many a time. We've got on great this year, but the bloke I've come to know has certainly got plenty to offer this club still. I know he wants to, but again, he's got a life to build outside of rugby now that he's been preparing for, and we'll see how it all looks. But yeah, hopefully in a not too distant future we have something nailed down here.
Use the expression passing the torch. I guess you're doing that coaching wise now on to John. How's that going to play out over the next few weeks?
Yeah, well, John's obviously they finished a couple of weeks back. We've traded a couple of texts here and there. We'll catch up next week. Lads have got some testing to do back end of the week. And then we'll start looking at how John wants it to look, really. I mean, it's a strange one. There's that conflicting emotion, I think, for everyone today around where we're at as a club. It's not where we want to be, but I think everyone can see that there is good going on underneath it. We have to go through this ugly bit. We have to. Touch a bit of wood. Wouldn't like another year like this. Hopefully we're over the worst of it now, and we can move forward and start making some plans and plotting what we want it to look like.
What about you? You must be gutted you're not going to have to come in here and answer my questions week in, week out from now on.
Wounded, yeah. Look, it's being in front of the camera. I don't like it. I don't think many people. Some do. It's not one of the highlights, I don't think, and particularly difficult in a difficult year when a lot of questions are posed at one person, when there's a lot of people that are contributing to our situation, if you like. That's not me passing the buck. I've not given the best of myself this year because there's a lot going on. I know I can be better, bring more, and hopefully everyone's got that approach moving into the off season there. But yeah, there'll be bits of it I won't miss, bits I will. Learned plenty. I learned a lot really about people, I think, as opposed to the rugby bit. A lot about people, how they react to adversity, and when you think they might fight, some freeze or some might back away from it. It's been really interesting working people out, but we've made some progress with some important bits, those young lads. I've said it before, Lewis, Harvey, Logan, back three, working out how they can influence a game. We've brought them on, I think, leaps and bounds over the course of the year, which is something I'm pretty proud of, because in a year where there hasn't been many bright spots, I think those young blokes have, and they've still got a lot in front of them. We've not seen the best. I don't think they've took the field with a team full of men pulling in one direction yet, and I think we'll see another level when they get the opportunity to do
that. Grixie, in terms of team selections, there's a couple of people left out. Jack Walker, like yourself, was that injury related, everything like that?
Yeah, injuries, unfortunately. Would have been nice to get them out there for the last game. But having said that, you look back now after the game, pretty happy with everyone who took the field today. I'm interested in those not on the field, of course, but focus has to lie with those lads after what could have been a win, and a lot of highlights in there, especially our younger players. But I thought Herman, Jed, Laney and Mint obviously out there. I thought they really did a good job of leading our young lads today.
Move on to Jed in a minute, but in terms of Sal, is that ankle a worry? Because he's had that niggle for a while now, hasn't he?
I don't know. I don't think it's the same ankle as the other, so that's one for the physios to have a think about.
Jed Cartwright, he was outstanding when he defensively. He seemed that intensity. It seemed to lift others as well. If that's positive next year, definitely.
Yeah, I'd probably say Jed's first game he was a little bit scratchy. Obviously not having played for a bit, but having watched him now over 4 or 5 games Jed's played, I think that's just him. Like the best and the worst. There's not a lot between it. He's an effort man. He's big body, who can make some dents. He's got a bit of skill as well. I mean, the pass round the back, if that had come off to Harvey, that would look pretty nice as well. But good bloke to have around the place. He knows what good looks like, having been in good environments, and probably shocked him where we're at as a club. But yeah, I think he'll play a strong part in pulling it around.
Definitely one to build around next season.
Yeah, certainly. Jed's been very unfortunate in his career thus far with injuries, and 27, probably not played the number of games he would have liked, but speaking my history, I did that at my early stage. I didn't play loads of injuries, missed loads, and then at some point you get the opportunity to knock a cluster together, and hopefully the next couple of years we get that with Jed.
Just to dip back into someone who playing again, Tom Briscoe, what's the status with him? Was it just illness again?
Yeah, Tom's been ill, and then obviously I feel like these young blokes have gone well in his absence, so yeah.
Obviously, period now before start of pre-season. I know you touched on it a bit last week, but what does it look like now? Is it a case of review, reset, reflect and go again?
The review's a tricky one. Obviously, I'll be doing it as a staff. We'll do a review for ourselves. I mean, can give a bit of a review to players. Obviously, a lot of leaving, but you normally do a review, and this is what we expect coming back. Other than the physical stuff around how we expect them to look when they arrive back to training, ready to go. I'd be giving him an opinion that probably not as important as it is right now. What John's opinion is of these players might be a little bit different to mine from what he's seen so far, so we're not going to go too hard into that. You just give everyone the opportunity to, invite everyone to have a really good look at themselves. It's easy looking out and pointing at, we haven't got this right, the club haven't done this right and all that, but there's bits in amongst this where everyone could have done a little bit more, give a little bit more, and yeah, it starts with a man in the mirror first.
We'll see yourself. You get to go back and avoid all those lot and just coach next year. How much are you looking forward to that?
Yes and no. Listen, I want to be an head coach. I don't think I'll ever experience these circumstances again. I didn't ask to be in this role. I expected to come and sit underneath Tony and watch him work on what we all thought was probably going to be a 5-year swing. It might still be a 5-year swing, hopefully sooner, but a lot's changed. Let's say a lot's changed. So yeah, there's head coach is the end goal. But yeah, being the assistant's not too bad a gig. You don't have to come out here and give you the cliche answers when I can't really tell you what I'm thinking or feeling half of the time, and that's not being dishonest, but sort of in charge or leading a lot of people. If I give you my straight thoughts every week when we come in this room, I won't be well liked by many, I don't think. So it's been tough. It's been a tough all year, but yeah, I think I'm a big boy, been through worse stuff in life. Rugby, in the end, it is a sport, means a lot to a lot of people, but it's not life and death stuff.
You learnt much about yourself and obviously yourself as a coach this year?
I don't know. I know I'm resilient. I know I am. I can put up with this. I can do all that. As I say, I probably learned more about a lot of people. Different types of people and how they can affect your environment. That's probably what I learned a lot about. And if you've got the power to change, which in my position I'm not in the power to change, what to look out for and what you need to nip off straight away. There's some little bits in the black book there for that certainly.
And obviously, in terms of going forward next year, a lot of your form showed today has been throughout the season really. So, is there a positive to take out that into next season to build around that going forward? Yeah,
of course. I mean, I've said it time and time again. It's tough for them to come into at the moment, and I think those young wingers, the fullback, Charles has done a good job. It's been real tough for him as well, and he's done real well throughout it all. Obviously, Kempe coming at the end, Ryan. It's a lot to be positive about and look forward to. They're not the finished article. They're not going to be starting players next year, and they won't play as many games. The majority of them won't play as many next year, which will do them good as well. But I think what we do know is they've been exposed to it now, and when they get the opportunity, it won't be the waiting 6 weeks for them to show a little bit of form, because they'll know what's coming, they'll know what it feels like, and they'll be better for it. And that's just game day. But off the pitch as well, we'll have a deeper squad next year to pick from, hopefully. If we can keep them fit, that'll help. But yeah, training will go up a lot because of their hunger and desire now to actually be first team players now they've had a taste of it. So there's a lot of benefits to these young lads, but we can't expect them to be you beauties next year. Like, they're still learning, they've got a long way to go, but they've made some real big strides towards it, and hopefully that hunger about them, develop themselves physically and put some challenges down to those blokes, those experienced players that were recruited.
That works both ways, doesn't it? Obviously experience, setting the standard, youth obviously trying to push that, and there's an honest on the experience to lead the way and keep their place, otherwise it'll be taken. Yeah,
I mean, young lads, doesn't matter where they are, they lead what's in front of them. I think if we can do a better job in that regard next year, that'll bring them on in leaps and bounds as well. But those lads coming in should also know that they want to play. These young lads, they're not there just to make up the numbers, and hopefully they can get their training levels and their performances maybe whether it could be dual reg or reserves or whatever, to the right level to put them under the pump and show them what they've shown throughout this year. You know, if they can improve again through pre-season, I'm sure there'll be no hesitation in putting these in again.
All good.
I was going to say, today, does a 20-point defeat, does it feel like a harsh scoreline for considering the effort and the endeavour and the enthusiasm that there was there?
I don't know about harsh. I don't think we got a lot. I think you don't know, do you? Because the coverage on the TVs at the moment within the ground, I'm not sure what's going on there, but it's not a very good view of what's going on. But yeah, it didn't feel like we got a lot out of the game in terms of decisions, any 50-50s. Didn't feel like we got much in that regard. Does it feel harsh losing? No. Again, we did some stuff that we've done all year. We're giving 5 or 6 penalties away in their yardage when you've got them pinned, and that's when, if you keep them there, the pitch ends up tipping and it gets a bit easier to get down the other end of the field. But instead, we just kept inviting them out, and that comes down to some of our inexperience, lack of physical presence, if you like. We haven't got the biggest team with those young blokes. They've got a long way to go on in that respect. So, but look, where we've been last couple of weeks to where we were today, I'm really proud of their effort. They had a dig. Definitely had a dig in all areas, and they certainly challenged Catalan as well, which is a pleasing bit. They didn't just hang in there. I think we could have had a bit more out of it, but for a bit of composure.
So, does it feel like that result is a good reflection of where this club is at right now? What has been learned this season? Does it give a good reflection on how much
I don't know.
and where the club is?
I think, just speaking from my perspective as a coach coming here, I've only been here a short period of time. I coached Halifax in Championship, and on occasion we could compete with. We had St Helens at home and did all right against them. The game got away from us towards the end of the game, and I think that's been us this year. I don't want to say Championship standard, but we haven't been able to get to the level consistently. So yes, we were able to pick off leads when we got a bit about our team, a bit more consistency in selection. But then we got Wigan, probably caught them on a bit of an off day. I'm not want to take away from what we've done there, but that we've not been at the right level from day dot. We haven't been there. But as I say, I like to think we've been the snake's belly of it for a little bit. It can only get better from now, really. But yeah, I think we didn't set ourselves up to have a good season in the grand scheme of things.
One last question for me. Obviously, we're talking about Jordan Rapana, Aidan Caesar, players like that coming in that are going to do these young lads really good, and obviously they've played alongside the likes of Danny Houghton, Catalans, and Mavavi. How much does it help them going up against blokes like Sam Tompkins or and other players that they've grown up watching? How much will that have helped them to see to oppose those sorts of players?
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully it gives them a bit of belief. They've been able to hang in there with them on occasion as a collective. Obviously, as I said, we haven't been good enough, but exposure's good. Overexposure probably an argument for some of them. They've played way more than we'd liked them to, but they all certainly know what this level looks like now. That's the important bit, and they can go away and take that experience and do as they please with it, really. We'll be driving them to continue to get better all the time, and I think there's a bit of a fire lit in those young boys. They want to get out there and wear that black and white jersey every week, so way more good. A little bit of harm at times, those big blokes running at them little bodies, but a lot more good than bad out of this year, for those boys anyway.